We saw him, like many children see their fathers, as Superman. Ours just happened to play Superman in the movies for a little while.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Guys, I genuinely, truly worship this movie. Seriously, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I worship your view.
Yeah, your skyline is awesome.
You guys are welcome. I have a very comfortable fold-out couch here in Chicago. You guys are welcome anytime. I'm going to jump into this. There is so much in this movie that is so deeply personal to your family and could be considered deeply private. And while we obviously all know and love your father, we are, at the end of the day, a lot of us are strangers. There's a lot that you could argue that we don't really have a right to know. So I am sort of curious that how do you, as a family, decide what we deserve to know or not know about your father?
Well, I think for us, we thought that we were sitting for interviews and giving access to archive footage, but really we would just be helping tell the story of our dad and what it was to have this rise to fame and then the ups and downs of his life thereafter. And what was surprising is the filmmakers told that story. They tell it beautifully. But they go so much deeper, thinking about these family dynamics, about what it is to be a parent, about what it is to be a kid, about what it is to go through divorce, about navigating the ups and downs in your life, no matter what your circumstances are. So I don't know if we went in with intentionality, but looking at it now, I'm really glad of the result, because even though our circumstances were unique, so many of those themes are universal and are things that we think audiences will relate to and probably see themselves in as well.
I will say that we, from the outset of this project, our main goal, our only goal, was to tell a holistic, comprehensive story that was unflinching and a 360-degree view of our dad's life, of our family life. And by nature of what has happened in our lives and in our dad's life and in my mom's life, there are going to be raw, vulnerable moments. There are moments of great triumph and joy. There are moments of great tragedy and despair. It's a fully human experience. So when we sat for our interviews and when we embarked on this project to begin with, we knew that there was going to be something raw and vulnerable about it, but we knew we had to do that because in order to tell this story, we had to go to those places. Our dad would have wanted the raw, the vulnerable, the deeply personal, because that's real. And if nothing else, this is real. This is a human story. And so we were willing to do it.
Yeah, it was to achieve the authenticity that we felt would do the story justice and that needed to be told and shared. The goal was never to create, as we call it, sort of a family-sanctioned, sugar-coated puff piece. We wanted, like, as Will said, sort of this comprehensive, holistic view and portrait of who our dad and Dana and were and how our lives were.
As someone who, I was so locked into this movie because I was obsessed with the Superman films growing up, but how quickly I forgot them is the wrong word whenever to use, but like I felt like I was listening to your family. Like I wasn't thinking about comic book movies. I was invested in a human story. And that's kind of what I go into my next question, because like I said, growing up for me, your dad was Superman. Like when I thought of that character, and I still do, I see your dad, but I feel like the best part of this movie is that what it taught me is that he did not become, in my eyes now, Superman, truly what Superman stands for until after the accident. So I feel like that's when he most exemplified what a hero was and is. And I'm sort of curious, how did your dad change the definition of Superman for you guys?
Well, I don't know if, I think we saw and still see our dad on a purely human level. The fact that he played an iconic character that happened to be invincible is a coincidence, right? Because we saw him, like many children see their fathers, as Superman. Ours just happened to play Superman in the movies for a little while. I think what we knew growing up and what is apparent in this documentary is our dad's definition of what a hero is changed after the accident. And that, I think, is his lasting legacy. His ultimate definition of a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. That, in one sentence, is the story of his life, But also, as you'll see in the film, it's the story of Dana Reeve and her life. And it can be anybody's story because we're all ultimately, as the film shows, ordinary individuals who sometimes get overwhelming obstacles thrown in our way, and we can persevere and endure.
I love this movie so much. They're pulling me out of here. I just want to say thank you for sharing your family's story with us, and thank you for what you guys are continuing to do every day and continuing on that legacy. You guys are heroes as well. So I really do truly appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.